Welcome to the Horse Racing Network, where today we're going to be counting down the 10 top most memorable Cheltenham moments in recent years. So kicking us off, we're going to look at that Langedan win. You know what I mean by that Langedan win. So in at number 10 is Langedan's 2024 Coral Cup hurdle win. After what was a good win in 2023 in the Martin Pipe Conditional, he then came back and had an interesting season and suddenly won that Coral Cup. I know that it's become a little bit of a catchy meme now in racing to say we're going to Langedan it, but we all know what that means within the racing world. In then at number 9 is Dawn Run. So she was the first horse, let alone mare, to win the Cheltenham Festival double of the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup. And bless her, she absolutely flew home in that Gold Cup to beat many people's favourite Wayward Lad. She snatched victory in the dying strides and is a true racing legend. In then at number 8 comes none other than JP McManus's Istabraq. How could you not have the great Istabraq on this list? He's won 3 champion hurdles, 1998 to the year 2000. He was dominance personified, such an exciting horse. I think he's actually been listed as JP McManus's favourite horse of all time in terms of his ownership, and I'm sure many racing favourites. In then at number 7, a little bit of a touchy one, this one. This is Goshen's fall in 2020. He was labelled as a multi-million pound fall. He was home and hosed under Jamie Moore and 10 lengths clear going over the last. And alas, he came to grief. I know there's been many videos of people who were watching the race, cheering him on, screaming him on, in many ACCAs as well. And unfortunately, he came to grief. I'm sure one that Jamie Moore even says now that he would want back. In at number 6, we couldn't have a Cheltenham Festival most memorable top 10 without the likes of Big Bucks. He's one of the best hurdlers the world has ever seen. He had an incredible 4 consecutive stayers hurdle victories, and Big Bucks is so popular that the Champagne Bar at Cheltenham Festival Racecourse is now named after him. So if you're ever passing by, don't forget to go and have a drink in there, and cheers to the enigma that is Big Bucks. So in at number 5 is Quevega. She was such an incredible mare for Willie Mullins, and for those of you that don't know, he does keep a picture of her inside his hat, I think probably just for luck, at the Cheltenham Festival. She won an incredible record-breaking 6 consecutive victories in that mare's hurdle, winning from 2009 to 2014. I don't know if we'll ever find another mare quite as good as Quevega. In at number 4 with Cheltenham Festival memories, and people may have thought this might be higher, but if we're thinking about events that we still all talk about, you have to think of sprinter Sacre. He was trained back from injury by Nicky Henderson after he won that very impressive 2013 Queen Mother Champion Chase. He came back again in 2016 to regain his Champion Chase crown, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house when he came into that winner's enclosure. He went off at odds at about 5-1 and was so popular. He won his races after that and lives happily in retirement. He's one of racing's greats. Number 4, sprinter Sacre. Then at number 3, we have another racing comeback for probably one of the greatest Gold Cup performances of all time, and that is Kauto Star. After he was incredible in 2007, he then went up against his stablemate in 2008 and got demolished, as many would say, by Denman. But he showed us his courage when he came back to regain his Gold Cup crown in 2008. His many racing favourites. There's a statue of him at Kempton after he won all those King Georges. But you can't think of Cheltenham Festival memories without thinking about Kauto Star. In at number 2 then is probably one of the most emotional wins that we've seen at the Cheltenham Festival in all time, and that was Honeysuckle's last mare's win. What with the cloud of Henry de Bromhead losing his son Jack de Bromhead shortly before Honeysuckle went to take her place at the Cheltenham Festival, many were very much looking forward to seeing her run, and then she brought the fairy tale home by getting her win. Rachel Blackmore was visibly emotional after the win, and so were many others, but one image that many will never forget was that Honeysuckle actually had to take a separate route, a different route into the winner's enclosure, because so many people had lined the winner's enclosure, the paddock, the entire area, just to see her in, just to clap, just to cheer, and just to wish Henry de Bromhead all the best. And it was a moment that was so thoroughly deserved. And finally, in at number 1, the most memorable Cheltenham Festival moment of all time, the thing that we all talk about but really we shouldn't, because it was absolutely heartbreaking, and that was the fall of Annie Power. Ruby Walsh was coming down to the last, lengths clear, comfortably winning the race, and then it all went wrong. It looked like she jumped the shadow of the fence and came crashing down. Millions of pounds were saved by the bookmakers on that fall, as she was a leg in many people's Willie Mullins acca that had already sort of came into that point. So yes, Annie Power, number 1, unfortunately our most memorable moment, not for right reasons for that one.